That's a great jam. That's a great jam. Welcome, September 3rd, Tuesday, 5 days away from our first game with Atlanta. Atlanta is in big trouble. Um, hey, was clearly out of line with my podcast yesterday and my criticism of Coach Zimmer. Really went a little bit too far on that, and it helped that Funky Town had a chance to grab me and slap me in the face a couple of times to wake me up and get me back on track. So here I am, ready to go, and really just want to focus on this year. And today I want to talk about going to a Vikings game for the first time as an outsider. And I'm just going to talk about stuff that I know. Now, last year I lived in Minneapolis for 8 months, but before that I was flying in and going to games and staying in different places. And I want to compare hotels and apartments that you can rent. A lot of the hotels are in the Airbnb website, so they're all trying to do the same thing. So Minneapolis is a simple city to get in and out of when you compare it to a Boston, New York City, of course, Chicago, definitely. Just one light rail that'll take you right into the city from the airport, unless you're grabbing an Uber or friends picking you up and you're taking a taxi. I want to pull up a map here and kind of give you an idea of kind of the city. So you see U.S. Bank Stadium, lower right-hand side. If you draw a line 12 blocks left and right, and maybe another 12 blocks, up and down, north and south kind of thing, there are great places to stay in that in this general area. Lots of good apartments, lots of good hotels. They're all about the same price. You're probably talking about 200 a night for a good hotel. Some of the apartments, if you go through a Stay Alfred or Stay Lyrics, you can spend as little as like $70, $75 a night, not including cleaning fees and all that kind of stuff. But you're getting an apartment, which is a good take because a place like, let's say, a Fort Marquette, and I'm going to bring up another map. If you go up 5th Street to Marquette Ave, you have two choices that are being rented by Stay Alfred and StayLyrics.com. Stay Alfred is Sioux Line Building, and StayLyrics.com is Fort Marquette. And they're both apartment complexes that have rooftop decks, and they each have grills and that type of thing. So if you rent an apartment, you can bring stuff back and go upstairs and grill and party it up with your friends and not have to worry about driving back or walking back. You're right in your building. And let me bring up a picture of Fort Marquette because I stayed there for the 8 months. And I can tell you that the rooftop experience at Fort Marquette is the best in the city, hands down. Here's a view on the left-hand side. I'm actually looking down right to the stadium, which is behind the clock there. There's a gym up on the rooftop, and when you're working out on the treadmill or the glider, you have this great view of the city. It gets you pumped up, especially if you're doing it like a Sunday morning before a game. On the right-hand side is another view. The rooftop wraps around a building, so no matter where you are, you get this like great view of the city and beyond. On the lower right, I'm actually looking out at Target Field, the baseball stadium. So that was kind of awesome. And I'm going to bring up another image here. This is what they call St. Anthony's Falls, which used to drive the mills back in the day. And that bridge is called the Stone Arch Bridge. And that's the bridge that you see when the Vikings are playing on Sunday on Fox and they have shots of the city and people running. And that's the bridge. And you got to go there and just snap some pictures, because if you look behind you, that's where the stadium is and all those great places. So it's a great place to go and visit and hear the falls. Anytime you see water like that, it's soothing. So You got to go and check that out. It's probably a, a 10-minute walk from the stadium, and it's probably a 15, 20-minute walk from Fort Marquette if you're staying there. One other picture I want to bring up is the iconic Mary Tyler Moore statue, which is, if you're staying at Fort Marquette, for example, which is Marquette Ave, if you go one block north, that's Nicollet Ave, and that's where her statue is on the corner of 7th Street and Marquette Ave. And it's just an iconic statue. It represents Mary Tyler Moore, who had a show, and her show was a show that pioneered women into business. Before that, women were just not in business because it was mainly men, and she showed how women can survive in business, and it really pioneered that whole trend. And now, if you're on Nicollet Avenue and you go one block north of that, you're on Hennepin Ave, and Hennepin Ave can be kind of sketchy at night, even during the day sometimes. A lot of guys just hanging out. I remember I walked, I had a shirt and a tie on because I had a business meeting, and all the brothers that were hanging out were just like giving me, saying stuff like, look at this, the square and all this kind of stuff. I could hear them in the background and just ignored it. But for some people, that can be kind of intimidating. So just keep that in mind. As far as places to eat, you got to realize that the restaurants that are up to speed during the day are really geared towards the people that work in the city. And by 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and especially in the Skyway system, they shut down. And there's really less places to go and grab a bite to eat. Certainly the big places, the Manny's Steakhouse, and some of those places are still up and running. But most of the other restaurants, during the day, business hours are good. But after that and weekends, they just shut down. So that's why I highly recommend, maybe an apartment where you can get your own stuff to eat. Or if you have a ton of money, you can just go to, a bar down Nicollet Ave and get something to eat and something to drink and hang out. So, and then to get back to the airport, it's easy again, just light rail right to the airport. It's probably a 20-minute light rail ride. It could be a little less, could be a little bit more. But it's I want to say it's about 20 minutes. And then Sunday mornings, when, let's say we go back to Fort Marquette, if you're staying there, it is awesome on a Sunday morning when you look out and you see a sea of purple people walking to the game. That is just breathtaking because it gets you pumped up as a Vikings fan. And then if there's rain or whatever, you can actually take the Skyway system, which is a system that's about one level up from the first floor that connects all the buildings together, and it can get you right to the stadium. So that's a nice experience as well. All in all, Minneapolis, great city, easy to navigate, simple to get in and out of the airport. Great food when the places are open, and great views when you're there. So if you go, Skull, Atlanta's coming in on Sunday. They're in big trouble because we are ready. I predict a 27-15 win. Skull.